Hello, and welcome to Sex, Drugs, and Everything Else. This is episode 9, and this is Alex Trust coming at you as your host, as your MC, as your guide and guru, whatever you want to call me. I don't know about guru, because I don't know as much as I think I do. But welcome nonetheless. I'm glad you're listening, because we're going to go over some entertaining but important things today. What, you ask? I might keep it a secret this time and just do the segments as they come along. Yeah, I think I will. So I've got 2 segments for you, and then I've got a third segment that's going to be some music and yet another chapter of The Henchman. So I hope you're looking forward to it. Now, I want to talk about something important before we get started on everything else. So we're going to do that first. A good man named Larry Baumer, who lived in Toledo, Ohio, recently passed away of cancer. He was a hockey player, he was a motorcycle enthusiast, and just an all-around good guy. Now, unfortunately, his wife was left behind, and her name is Lisa, and she is having a real tough go of it right now. Between the medical bills and the funeral costs, she's barely making the mortgage at this point. So, they are having a memorial slash, what do you call those things? Hold on one second while I get my head together. A charity on the 22nd of August, which is this coming Saturday, at Homeboys Bar and Grill. It's at 502 Main Street. They're going to have a taco bar, a 50-50 raffle, gift baskets, silent auction, poker run with registration at 1:30, kickstands up at 2, $20 for the rider, $10 for the passenger, $100 to the best hand. If you don't know what a poker run is, I'm not exactly sure either, but a lot of Mr. Baumer's friends were motorcycle enthusiasts as well, and they're going to basically go on a nice motorcycle ride. They're going to hit different pubs and restaurants / bars. They're going to go to Veller's, then the Village Pub. They're going to go to Papa's and Ape Hangers, and then they're going to end up back at Homeboys. So it's just going to be, a good time, fun. Like I said, they're having a 50-50 raffle. They're going to have that silent auction. Their local businesses have sponsored, given stuff like Lee Williams House of Meats, kicked in some gift certificates and some merchandise. And that's the kind of thing that's going to be in the silent auction. Tons of other stuff, too. I don't know everything, but there's going to be a bunch of great stuff. And every single cent of it, is going to Lisa. So, please, if you can, show up. Once again, it's on August 22nd at 1 p.m., Homeboys Bar and Grill, 502 Main Street, Toledo, Ohio. So, if you live in the area, try and make it. Grab yourself some tacos. If you can't make it, you can go to my charity website, Person to Person, a Pay It Forward Challenge. It's on Facebook. Normally, I don't promote my charity on my podcast, but for this, I will. That's Person to Person, a Pay It Forward Challenge on Facebook. Just type that in and you'll find it, and you'll see all the information. And if you want to donate, just let us know you want to donate, and we can make the transaction, no problem, right over Facebook. So that is that. I hope a lot of people will help out because she's a really good woman, Lisa is, and she really needs the help. And it's part of our job as human beings to help each other out when we're down. So, alright, that's that. Coming up on segment 1, mystery segment, we'll see, coming up on segment 1 on sex, drugs, and everything else. 3, 2, 1. Sorry guys, one last thing before we start our first segment. I forgot to mention that since I have all you wonderful listeners in 18 different countries all around the world, a lot of you obviously can't come to Toledo, Ohio for the benefit on the 22nd. But what you can do is, if you want to make a difference, if you want to pay it forward, go on Facebook and look up Larry Baumer Fundraiser. Larry, Larry Baumer, Baumer Fundraiser. And you can give 50 cents, you can give $5, you can give $500. Every cent helps. So far they've collected over $2,000 of their $5,000 goal, and that is going to help her a lot. So please give. If you're in the position to give, please do so. Alright, now we're ready for segment 1 of sex, drugs, and everything else. No countdown this time, here it comes. Alright, welcome to segment 1 of episode 9 on sex, drugs, and everything else. Alright, I said I was going to leave it as a surprise, so now I'm going to unveil. It's not really that big of a surprise because sex is in the title, so this segment is also going to be about sex, but it is going to be about monogamy and whether it's outdated or not, if it was ever necessary in the first place, and where we stand on it as a society today. We're going to start out with a little practical knowledge. I like to do that because I do a little research. Once again, I am not an expert on these subjects. I am not a sexual therapist. I am just a guy with some ideas that are usually weird. Anyway, monogamy is defined as the practice or state of being married to one person at a time. Now, right off the bat, that particular definition only applies to human beings because no other creature on earth has a ceremony to bond a male and a female, or now a male and a male and a female and a female, two human beings, which is as it should be if that's what they choose. Now, we could go do a whole segment on whether marriage is outdated, but we're not going to do that. Now, the second definition of monogamy is the practice or state of having a sexual relationship with only one partner. Now, there's a subcategory of that. That, pretty much includes all of us. Everybody in the animal kingdom, which, don't forget, we're part of. We just happen to be at the top of the food chain. So there's a subcategory, zoology, zoology, basically speaking about animals. And it says that is defined as the habit of having only one mate at a time. Monogamy is rare in most animal groups, except among birds, surprisingly. Now, I can't tell you why, but most animal species out there, the female's job is to protect the front door and get a mate with the best genes, and the male's job is to basically fuck as many females as he can to spread as much of his DNA as is possible. Basically, it's all about procreation, folks. You know how it is. It's the same with us. Why do you think sex feels so good? It's to get us to do it so we continue our species. Now, there are exceptions because not only do some animals, or most animals, not have any kind of sexual monogamy, but some go out of their way to be what we would consider, well, sluts, basically. Female chimpanzees, they are more concerned with having sex with many different males than finding the strongest mate, which is a little different than most species. Researchers found that the female will use copulation strategically to enlist the future protective support of males against aggressive group members, especially other females. So basically, she's copulating, she's doing it with as many males, so none of them knows who's the baby daddy, and they all instinctively treat the offspring as their own. That's pretty smart, huh? I think so. So, we're gonna try and talk about monogamy, with humans, because we can't really know what animals are thinking. We can only observe and report. So let's just stick with human beings for now. Personally, I am in a monogamous relationship myself. I'm married to a wonderful woman, and I really don't have the desire to be with anyone but her. So that's just me, though. Instinctually, like I said, we're all animals. We all are a part of the animal kingdom. Instinctually, human males still, the evolutionary instinct, if I can get that out of my mouth, is to copulate with as many females as they can to spread their genetic material. And the female's job is once again to guard the door and find the male with the best mating potential. Now, does that mean monogamy is, I don't know what word I would use, necessary for us? It's kind of just the opposite when you think about it. As long as the woman is holding up her end of the deal, who says that you can't, in this day and age, have sex just for fun? As well, I shouldn't even say if women are holding up their end of the deal, because it's not just up to them anymore. Males should be just as responsible if they're going to go out and fuck a bunch as females are. It just unfortunately usually falls to the female because they're much smarter and much more responsible than, well, I'm sorry, horny young guys. They can be dumb. They think with their dicks and nothing else. Now that doesn't mean that women aren't just as horny as men. They just tend to be, like I said, more responsible, and they think ahead. But, get a girl drunk and she might stop being so responsible. So in this day and age of, prophylactics, of birth control, of education about sexually transmitted diseases and birth control, should it really be that big of an issue to be monogamous? Personally, I think a lot of it comes from outdated religion. Now, I'm not going to go into religion because I believe everyone should be able to have faith if they want to. They should be able to believe in whatever they want to. But I think especially part of the Christian religion that is a little outdated is the concept of how they look at marriage. I mean, just look at how they look at homosexual marriage. The Pope now, this Pope has said something along the lines that it's okay, but I'm not even sure about that. I don't quote me on that, but that's just Catholic Christianity anyway. But most Christians are dead set against homosexual marriage. Now, that's outdated right there, okay? I'm not saying all Christians believe that. I'm just saying I believe the majority of them do. Ask some, go around and ask some and see what they say. Anyway. So I think a lot of it comes from what we learn as children from whatever religion we're a part of as children, what we're indoctrinated with, and society as a whole, what we're indoctrinated with. We're taught that you have a mommy and a daddy and a couple kids and a house and a white picket fence. You know, the whole nuclear family option, which is all well and good. If that's what you want, nothing wrong with that. But there are so many iterations of how a family can be and be happy and safe and sound that there can't just be one way and everyone else gets spit on or rejected, can there? What would you do if tomorrow they came along and said to you, you can't be with your wife anymore? Marriage is outlawed. You know, you have to be with someone else. You have to be with at least 5 other people if you even want to be with your wife. And that was the law. And then after a couple generations, that was just what everyone was taught. How would that make you feel tomorrow? You would feel violated. You would be angry. How dare they? How dare they tell me what to do? How dare they tell me how to live? Well, how's that any different than us telling people that don't want to live the way we traditionally live that they can't live any other way? What's the difference? There is none. It's just pure hypocrisy. Isn't it? So, that's basically what I have to say about that. You think about that for a while. And you think about that hypocrisy. Because what we need in this world, as I always say, is kindness, compassion, empathy, and giving. We need to make ourselves all friends. We don't have to all agree. One person can believe in monogamy, another can believe in, a throuple, or having a group of men and women raising a group of children. That's not unheard of throughout history. But we all need to accept each other's ideas as long as we're not harming each other. Now, I'll say this once, and then I'm not going to say it again because I don't want to keep picking on Christians. Christians will say that not having a traditional setup, man, woman, is hurting people. Well, guess what, folks? It's not. And there's no proof that it does. That's just something they've been taught and they're confused about. So, please think about it. Talk to your friends on social media about it. Talk to your friends in person about it. And we'll figure it out. I guarantee. Talking about it in an honest, logical, factual way, we will figure it out. Alright, folks, coming up on segment 2, another mystery round. What's it gonna be? Coming up next on Sex, Drugs, and Everything Else. Alright, welcome to segment 2 of Sex, Drugs, and Everything Else. Mystery subject number 2. Why we should get drunk or high. Well, like I did in the last segment, I'm going to start with a little factual information via the animal kingdom. What the National Geographic has to say about it is this. It is natural in the animal kingdom. You want some examples? You know I always do my homework. Mind-altering buzzes, whether from sweet fermenting fruit, magic mushrooms, psilocybin, opium, and coca leaves, have existed since the beginning of the plant and animal life. Many species deliberately seek out intoxication and natural highs, and they know exactly where to look for it too. Here's a list of 10 well-known animals that like their drugs. Wallabies love opium. Opium farmers hate them. They eat the opium from the opium fields and do little circular dances and just have a good old time. The monkeys of St. Kitts have gotten so used to the fermented sugarcane grown for rum there that they are now known to cheekily steal unweary tourist drinks. Some monkey steals my martini, I'm gonna be pissed. But actually, I think it was kind of funny and just order another one. Elephants get drunk on fermenting fruit of the marula tree. I know I wouldn't want to mess with a drunk 2-ton creature that holds a grudge. You know, they say they never forget. What if you, did something to him one time and then he gets all drunk and mad and I don't want him knocking on my door. Reindeer. Reindeer love magic mushrooms. How the hell do you think Santa gets them to fly? Ha 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 ha. Bighorn sheep in Canada have found a nice narcotic lichen to chew on after a hard days of avoiding being eaten by wolves. 5 more real quick are the Vienna songbirds. The songbirds of Vienna. They love fermenting berries. Bats love fermented fruit. Jaguars love the hallucinogenic yage vine. Pen-tailed tree shrew, a bird, love fermented nectar from the Bertam palm. Seems like there's a lot of drunks in the animal kingdom. Coors should start advertising towards pets or something. Caterpillars in Colombia love coca leaves, and they are the fastest and most talkative of all the caterpillars in the world. That was just a joke, but they probably are fast. So what's this mean to us? Well, to me it means, since we're animals too, as I said in the last segment, and I'll tell anyone who will listen, that it's, once again, quite natural to want to get drunk or high on something after a hard day's whatever you do. It's just a natural, inclination to want to have some sort of chemical escape from this sometimes harsh reality. Now, life, as I've said before, can be quite painful. We don't have to suffer. I've done a segment on, I've mentioned it, so I'm not going to go into it now, but we don't have to suffer, but we definitely go through a lot of pain. Physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain, and so do a lot of those animals, because they're not very different from us. We're just a little bit more evolved. That's it. We've got thumbs and a little bit bigger of a frontal lobe, and that's why we're on the top of the food chain. We're able to make tools and use them, and we took advantage of that. So, for me, and once again, my caveat, I am not an expert in this. I am not a drug counselor. I am not a doctor. I am not an expert of any kind other than having, about 30 years of experience with the use of and the observation of the use of drugs of all forms, including alcohol, because don't forget, one of our favorite pastimes in America, alcohol is a drug. Everyone doesn't look at it like that usually until you become an alcoholic. Then you're chastised and cast out and looked at funny if you even sip a beer. But alcohol is most definitely a drug, the most popular and most used one, apparently, by humans and animals. So, what do you think? What I think is, I'm going to keep having a drink at the end of a hard day. If I want to, I'm going to have a little psilocybin once in a while. Yeah, I microdose, and I'm not ashamed of it. It doesn't make me all crazy and make me think I can fly like Santa's reindeer can. It just makes me feel mellow and opens up parts of my mind that weren't open before. And quite frankly, it's just relaxing. I'm not going to go into any other drugs I do except for marijuana, because at this point, marijuana has finally been recognized as a medicine more than a drug, although it is still a drug, but it has more medicinal effects than it does getting you high. Don't get me wrong, it'll get you high. I love my edibles at this point. I eat 2 gummies and I can sleep like a baby, like an actual baby. And I have so many physical deficiencies, back problems, hip problem, neck problems, sciatica, all sorts of crazy stuff, and I'm only 43. So a lot of times I'm so uncomfortable and in so much pain, I can't sleep. Give me a couple gummies and I'm all good. So who's to say? Who's to judge? If I want to have maybe 2 or 3 drinks to cut down on the severe anxiety that I have, because I do. I've had it my whole life, but I also have PTSD because 2 years ago, while I was working, a man that I did not know tried to murder me. And by murder me, I mean just that. He choked me to the point where I blacked out, and if it wasn't for the intervention of 5 other men pulling him off of me, I would not be speaking to you at this point. So if I want to have a few drinks when the PTSD, when those memories are kicking my ass, I'm damn well gonna. And it helps. So does Xanax. That's a legal one if you can get your doctor to prescribe it to you, but you can't because of this supposed opiate epidemic. You can't get doctors to prescribe you anything anymore. They're paranoid. They're not worried about do no harm. They're more worried about cover my ass, because I've told this story to 6 psychiatrists, the story of almost being murdered, 6 psychiatrists, as many psychologists, therapists, my medical doctor, and my medical doctor was the only one that would prescribe me Xanax, and he prescribed me 10 of them, which would last about 3 days, because I take a milligram every 8 hours. So I have to buy them other places, and it's illegal, it's expensive, and you don't always know what you're getting, because those mother effers out there know how to press pills now that look exactly like the real thing. So you might be getting nothing, or you might be getting some of the substance you want and some of the substance you don't want. Just shit they'll throw in there to get you high, like fentanyl, which I certainly don't need in my life. I spent a long time addicted to opiates, and that's not something I have in my life anymore, because I don't believe that you should be addicted to anything. If you're going to use a drug, it should be done with knowledge of what you're doing, knowledge of exactly what it is you're doing and where you're getting it from, and you should not let it control your life to the degree where you have to have it to feel normal, which is what addiction is. So I do not, under any circumstances, do opiates, because I was addicted to them. You know why I was addicted to them? Because my doctor prescribed them to me, back when doctors prescribed OxyContin like they were going out of style. And of course I trusted my medical doctor. Why wouldn't I? Said it would help me. Got addicted within 2 months, because it doesn't take long, and then 2 years later got cut off cold. And so of course was buying them on the street, and spent 8 more years doing that. That was a fun run. But no longer, because I can't stress this enough, folks. If you're doing a drug to the point where you have to have it just to feel normal, and it's every day, you are addicted, and you need to seek help, because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. Please know that. I'm not an expert, but I know that much. So remember that. But remember this also, we're going to go out on a positive note. Animals know it. Elephants know it. Birds know it. Monkeys know it. Caterpillars certainly know it. Drugs can be a good thing. I talked at the beginning of this episode about the charity fundraiser. It's going to be at a bar, and just like at any good Irish wake, I don't know if the guy's actually Irish, but at any good wake, there's gonna be drinking. Most definitely. Helps take the edge off, doesn't it? So that's it. Once again, talk to your friends on social media about it. Talk to them in person. Let's get this conversation started. Do it. It's the only way to solve problems. It's the only way. Open up the lines of communication, people, and you will see the changes happen quickly. All right. Coming up on segment 3, we're going to have a little bit of music, and then we're going to read Chapter 9 in The Henchman. All right, see you in a moment. All right, welcome to segment 3. We're going to do our musical segment first. We are going to be listening to The Infinity Process. I played them last week, but I like them so much, I want to give them more exposure and play them again. So here comes their song, Unknown. All right. That was once again. What the heck am I doing? I already told you this, but I'm going to tell you again because I feel like it. That was The Infinity Process, the song Unknown, the title track of their third album, The Unknown. So check them out. They're pretty much on all musical platforms. You can find them very easily on Facebook or YouTube. I highly recommend it because the rest of the album is just as good as what you heard. So, coming up next, we're going to read Chapter 9 from The Henchman. Here we go. The Henchman, Chapter 9. Captain Victory, as the de facto leader of this little self-righteous Carde, started things off. "Good to see you again, Ash," he boomed. He boomed everything. "Your reign of evil is over. Time to pay for your crimes." Ha 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 ha, he chuckles as he strode toward me. "We're gonna do this the easy way or the hard way?" He actually raises one eyebrow at me to, I don't know, make his point. What? The hard way? What a douche. He was a walking cliche, a parody of himself, for God's sakes, and now he had me thinking with the exclamation points that he talked with. Oh boy, could stupidity and corniness be contagious? If so, then everyone in the room needed a shot of something. Now Killer Wolf chimed in. "Please make it the hard way," he said in his growly voice. "Just give me a reason. Any reason, punk." He cocked his gun for effect and sneered once again. I wondered briefly if there was some kind of mandatory workshop these assholes went to that taught them to be so lame. I could write better dialogue all hopped up on cough syrup and duster, wink wink. And these freaks had $1,000,000 endorsement deals for saying this tripe. Most people taught their children to look up to these morons. Society calls them heroes, and they're unimaginative idiots. No wonder the world's so fucked up. Priorities and perspective, people. Priorities and perspective. I don't even turn around when I hear Dr. Dipshit's voice. He at least is well spoken, but no less tiresome. He, of course, tries to be the voice of reason in a situation where that is clearly inappropriate. "Well, Commander Ash, I think you must know that this battle is lost for you before it even needs to be fought. Show sense and tell your men to stand down, and we will show mercy, and no one will be hurt. You must know in your heart that you deserve justice. You must know that you have to be punished for your crimes. Come now, for once in your life, do what's right. Atone for your sins, and don't commit any further transgressions this day," he says. I think he meant to prattle on, but a small sigh of annoyance escapes from beneath Silver Smoke's cowl. Me and the doc are the only ones who are close enough to hear it, I think, with our enhanced audio capacity. I sense the doc stiffen up, and I smile a bit. I still don't move a muscle, but the fact that even Smoke finds the doc such an ass munch and so tedious breaks me out of my trance enough to say what I'm thinking. I don't turn, but I pitch my voice to the doc. "Suck a bag of dicks." "Nice speech, though, asshole," I tell him. That everyone does here. There's a collective gasp from everyone in the room, except me and, well, Smoke. Good and evil alike, you know. Captain Victory looks stunned, Silver Smoke amused, and Killer Wolf sneers some more. I think that's the only face he has. I mean, you can't see most of it anyway, but you can see his sneer. That's weird, isn't it? Yoshi edges closer to me and whispers, "I don't think that was the best idea, Ash. You wanna die?" He looks worried, but I'm not sure why. He is, after all, the only one in our party with immunity. As a journalist, he is considered a neutral party. Maybe he's just worried I'm about to get my head kicked off by 4 pissed-off metahumans, and his rise to fame with me will be at an end. I don't respond, and I still haven't moved. I think, in retrospect, this is what saves us. The heroes are waiting for me to make my move before making theirs. It's a common hero failing. They want to feel like their hands are clean, that they've been the absolute white, not that dirty shade of gray most realistic people admit to existing in. So while they have no problem kicking down some innocent studio's wall and terrorizing a room full of bystanders, they want me to make the first move before they vaporize me or whatever. Schmucks. I don't complain this time though, because I'm still half retarded from having to confront all the repressed pain from seeing Sarah again. Sorry to use the R word, I shouldn't have done that, but that's what I thought at the time, so that's what I'm recording. So now, we're all stalled. Everyone kind of shuffles their feet, except for Cap and the Doc, who float, and avoid eye contact with each other. The Cap kind of clears his throat to make another go of it, but before he can start in, here comes my saving grace. "Hey guys, am I too late?" stutters one of the ugliest little men I've ever seen. "Why didn't you guys call me? I had to hear about it on my police scanner," he accuses. This time, all four superheroes sigh out loud in resignation. It's Aquaman, the underwater Mexican superhero. He's got a hunchback topped with a fin, webbed feet and hands, gills on his neck, and cataract eyes for seeing in the ocean's depths. His skin is a mottled green and gray, and he wears only a loincloth, but at least he bothered to put one on. And an eye mask, as if he has to protect his identity. No one cares who he is. By all accounts, he is extremely powerful and commands a legion of followers, but only when he's in the sea. Out of water, he's just an ugly little stuttering nerd. Unfortunately for him, we currently were in Atlanta, which is landlocked. Not Atlanta, or not Atlantis, Atlanta. Landlocked, no water. Bringing Aquaman to this fight was like bringing a fishing pole to a chlorinated pool or a set of encyclopedias to Captain Victory's house. Pointless, but kind of funny. Then something very unexpected happened. Not unexpected as in 100 to 1 odds horse coming in first and making someone rich for a day. Not unexpected as in the fabric of the universe unfolding before you and meeting the one true God, or finding out that existence does truly make sense, has order, and can be understood by us all. A moron or anyone, the higher plane of reality opens up, and pretty much anyone, I mean anyone who really tries, can see it. But more unexpected like, and I'm so sorry to have to use the idiot parlance of our times. What? Yeah, unexpected like that. But, dear readers, it was so fucking funny, I still laugh my ass off once or twice a week when it crosses my mind. Now, I can't say too much right now, because I've learned just how much you nerds hate spoilers. Please don't take offense to that either. I was a nerd and probably still am, and you guys are my bread and butter. But trust me, guys, the shit I'm doing now makes this story a game of patty cakes, okay? And what I'm about to tell you still cracks me the fuck up. Okay, I think you get it. Onward. So, we have a half-insane billionaire decked out in a small army's worth of destructive gear, an insanely powerful half-alien idiot, a super genius with no known limits to his powers, and my ex-girlfriend, the love of my life, and also a Class A metahuman for all anyone of us knew could be even stronger than the other three put together. Oh, and then me, a bunch of my scared shitless men, and about 30 or 40 even more scared shitless bystanders. Well, what can you say other than jinkies? We forgot the most important dude there, man. Aquaman. You see, A-Man had quite the chip on his shoulder about not having his powers on land. He knew the other heroes and villains mocked him, and that drove him crazy. In the water, he could take on and defeat just about anyone and anything, and the world was 70% water, so he figured he was owed some respect. He did not get it, though. This caused him to do something very unexpected. My enemies were closing in around me, circling like righteous vultures ready to pick me apart. I knew I was really fucked this time. No null void bomb, and even if I'd had one, I had 4 opponents. 3 of them would have been more than enough to finish me. See, that's the thing. I knew I wasn't going to jail. I was gonna die, and I was gonna die hard. Oh well, I guess it was fun while it lasted. I figured I'd go out with style, though, fighting as hard as I could so as not to fall like a chump. I drew my sword and my gun and smiled at Lone Wolf. I figured I at least had a shot of messing him up a little bit. I stepped forward to do battle as I did, the Revengers were seconds from clashing with the weirdest thing I've ever seen happen. Aquaman had apparently had enough of the disrespect he received by the land-based heroes and decided to do something about it. Something wicked and effing cool as hell. I don't know what method he used to pull it off, but one moment he was an ugly hunchback little man, and the next he was a towering monster. He looked like a combination of an ogre and a medieval dragon. He was terrifying. He wasn't mad at me though, thank God, as I'd never said 2 words to him. He focused his rage on my would-be killers and started knocking them about like bowling pins in a 300 game. Lone Wolf was crushed in seconds, and the captain got punched so hard he flew off around the curve of the earth. Dr. Quantum fared better and dematerialized before A-Man could let loose a firestorm right in the doc's face. Quantum rematerialized as a 60-foot orange giant and charged Agua to grapple with him in an attempt to wrestle him to the ground. This did not work out for the doc. Agua simply picked him up like a rag doll and threw him into a building so hard it collapsed onto the dock. He did not get up. I couldn't have been happier. From certain death to getting to watch my enemies getting trashed in a matter of minutes. I have to say, though, I was worried about Silver Smoke. I still love Sarah in my own way and didn't want to see her get obliterated by this weird Mexican water monster. I needn't have worried, though. She saw what happened to the rest of her crew and just turned to Smoke and hightailed it right out of there. Smart girl. All right, that's going to do it for episode 9 of Sex, Drugs, and Everything Else. I hope you enjoyed it as usual. If anyone wants to start a dialogue with me, as I encourage you to start a dialogue with your friends, both on social media and in person. But if you have anything to say to me to make the show better or a comment, as long as it's fairly respectful, you can curse at me if you want. Just make it interesting. Don't be inane. You can reach me at sexdrugsandeverythingelse@gmail.com. All right. I hope that gratitude, empathy, and kindness brighten all your days. Peace.